What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Wednesday night. I was trying to grab something here off my phone so I can show you a preview of something I'm working on now, which, crap, I don't have any of it with me. Anyway, GoPro sent me their new Enduro batteries to test in cold weather, obviously, because, I live in Alaska. Um, I thought it was pretty sweet that they did because I had, I've been pretty critical of them over the last couple of years over, their design choices, some of their issues in firmware and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you a clip of that here in a second where I went and tested. But yeah, it's good to see you all. Hope you're all doing well. If this is your first time or you haven't been here before, this is all question and answer. The reason I did this live stream is because I keep up with the comments, but I can't really do much more than answer one time. So if you have questions, this is the place and the time to ask, and I'll do my best to answer them. And I saw a bunch of you already posted questions, which is awesome because it gets things kicked off right away. So I hope you're all doing well. It is the dead of winter here. We have one of the coldest Novembers on record, and now we've gotten a fair amount of snow, and yeah, it just goes on and on. So Henry Freeman, you asked the first question. Thank you very much for that. You'd love to hear tips on how to edit drone footage. Do you use iMovie, or is $300 worth it for Final Cut Pro? I think Final Cut Pro is worth it, but I do this professionally, like editing and video production stuff. So I would start with iMovie. Just start with iMovie, and you can do a lot with iMovie. And then when you're ready to upgrade, you can upgrade. If you want a more full-featured editor, but you don't want to pay money right off the bat, then get DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve gives you a free version that's actually very, very full-featured, very powerful, and you can start working with that. And then if you want to buy the paid version because you find features you can't use, then you can do that. Max, you asked Mavic 3, you got it. Excited to use it. Congratulations. Just wondering if you can do portrait, vertical video, or photo. Unfortunately, you cannot. Yeah, that hasn't been a possibility for a while now, which is sort of unfortunate, I guess. Is what it is. Let's see. Mike Taunton, your issue is winter. The whites blow everything out. Winter is your favorite season, flying a Pro Platinum. It's hard, and especially depending on the type of light you get on snow, it can just be really difficult to get any definition because if there's not a lot of good contrast, it's really, really hard. And then because snow is white, like pretty much as pure white as you can get on this planet, it makes it hard to get a proper exposure setting. The camera a lot of times will want to underexpose because there's a lot of light flooding into the sensor, and so you end up having to overexpose a little bit. But it just is really hard to get broad daylight snow properly exposed. So I can totally relate to that. ND filters will help. ND filters will help for sure, and then use a manual exposure if you can and get it to where you want it. So, Femi asks, what camera monitor do I recommend under $500? Also a good professional tripod with a fluid head. Thank you. So, Femi, I use, the Andy Cine C7 2200 nit. It's an ultra bright. It's good. It's actually pretty accurate, surprisingly, for a fairly inexpensive. I did a video about it. I'll see if I can bring that out. Hey, Big Water UAV, nice to see you. Yeah, Reptilian Research. Yeah, you're right. Get ND filters. ND filters do help quite a bit. They'll help you quite a bit. So yeah, Femi, for under $500, I'd look at the Andy Cine C7. It's a good one. I put a video together about it on my channel a few months back. For a good professional tripod with a fluid head, honestly, there's a Manfrotto. What is this one? This is the 190X, I think this one is, and it's a 500 fluid head. That's a good start. Tripods range anywhere from really, really cheap to extremely expensive. So depends a lot on your budget on the tripod. But that I think was a couple $100 for that, and the tripod it's good. iFootage makes some nice stuff. Their K7 is pretty good, and their tripods are pretty good. I use some of those as well. So yeah, look at those and start there. Hey, Fly Zone. Let's see. Got Polo Pro. Oh, Mike Taunton. Good deal. Yes, Jason H. There are. These here. Where are they? Here they are. Not those. These. Yeah. These and these and these. So these are from Freewell. I haven't tested them yet, but Freewell's had a pretty good, solid reputation in the past. But these are for the Mavic 3. Actually, I think these are for the Action 2. Yeah, those are for the Action 2. Never mind on those. These are for the Mavic 3, here and here. And then you can also get a variable set. So you can just kind of set it and only have to carry 2, which is what I prefer personally. But Freewell has released a set, or is releasing a set here shortly. I really like Freewell products. Overall, I purchased quite a few myself, and they've also sent me a lot. So, Polar Pro hasn't released them yet. I'm on a list so that as soon as they release them, I should get notified that they're released and be able to purchase some. They don't want to send me anything, so. Thanks, Reptilian Research. Let's see. I think I'm almost caught. Mike Hernick, Air 2S Army. Nice to see you. Juan, why did DJI use the same controller for the Mavic 3? I think it was cost cutting and time saving. Combination of those two. It's already developed. They don't have to put together any new stuff for that controller. It's already there. And so it saves them a lot of time in developing something and a lot of cost. And obviously they were rushing to get the Mavic 3 out because they weren't even able to finish all the firmware for it. So it's disappointing. The controller's fine. It's not a bad controller, and I did get the RC Pro though, the new smart controller. It came 2 days ago, so I got it set up and updated and bound and all that, and paired. And so I'm looking forward to trying that. I would recommend it for everybody. The regular controller is going to be fine for almost everybody, but for me, the smart controller is worth it with the type of work I do. So GoPro sent their peace offering, Richard. Well, I thought it was cool. I've been pretty hard on them. I'll play the clip here in a second. I've been pretty hard on them. And, I think there are things they should do better. They're GoPro. They've been around for a long time. They have, really good image quality for an action camera. But some of the functionality and some of the firmware issues that I've had with mine, and I know a lot of other people have had them too, I just think is a little crazy. So, but it's cool that they reached out and they were like, hey, we watch all these videos. We appreciate your feedback. One of the issues that I have consistently is cold batteries because of where I live, and it shuts down the functionality of the camera pretty early on. So they knew that. So they reached out and asked if they could send me some of the new Enduro batteries to see if I like them. So I like them so far. Oh yeah, let me get that set up. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. We'll see. So far, they're definitely doing better in the cold. I will say that. Oh, that's right. I put that in my. I forgot how I did this. Actually, let me do it this way. Anyway, so yeah, I thought that was cool because I've been pretty critical. I haven't held my punches on it. Anyway, it just So here, I'll play the clip. This is one of the things I've done so far to test the GoPro, and this is just raw video. But here it is. Let's see if I can get the audio to work. If the batteries were cold, the camera wouldn't perform well. And even down 30-40% range, the camera would start stopping after 5 seconds of recording because the battery just couldn't put out enough juice to keep the camera going. And especially if you're demanding higher level settings like 5K 30, especially if you're demanding higher level settings like 5K 60 or the boost stabilization, which requires more power for the processor to be able to really get all that stabilization built in to work. But these batteries are supposed to be much, much better. So far, I'd say the runtime is better. I've already done a bunch of stuff with this pretty cold temperatures. And it seems to be working well. But I don't know if I can keep going this way like I planned, because this snow is up to my chest and I'm not a short person. Let's go find a different spot to test things out. Okay. It's peaceful though. All right. Oh gosh. All right. All right. Let's see if I can get back to the car. Oh, jeez. There you go. Hope you enjoyed that preview from an upcoming video. I do need snowshoes. I didn't bring them with me, and I was kind of like, because I'd been down there a week before, and none of that snow was there. It was, 6 inches deep, and then I went back, and it was literally up to here in a lot of places, and yeah, so it was. But I thought it would make for a fun way to introduce, cold weather battery from GoPro. Me wading through waist deep snow. It was a lot of work. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. I'm excited. Brad Henderson, is DJI releasing a Mavic 3 combo with the RC Pro controller? I haven't heard that. If they did, it'd be cool. The Pro controller is good. Femi, Mike, Eddie New. Oh my gosh, you guys have asked a lot of questions, so awesome. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, is the A7C considered more of a photography camera or video? Brad, it's kind of a in-between camera. It's a little bit of both. I would consider it more of a video camera because it lacks some of the custom function buttons that makes it nice for photography, where you can adjust the ISO, the aperture, and the shutter speed really quickly with extra dials and stuff. But it works fine for either one, and it's got a good sensor for both. So yeah. Gareth, what is the video quality on the Mavic 3 compared to the Mavic 2 Pro? So Gareth, I am going to be doing a head-to-head comparison between the two drones. There are a couple of reasons that you don't want to upgrade from the Mavic 2 to the Mavic 3. But there definitely is. The Mavic 3 gets better image quality overall in photo and video. It's not like night and day difference like the Mavic 1 to Mavic 2 was, but it definitely is better. It just is. The detail is better, and the low light is better. Dynamic range is better too. So Eddie Nunez, thought on the Sony drone released today and the price point? I think the Sony drone looks amazing. I'm a little scared of Gen 1 products, just because you end up being a little bit of a test bed. But Sony has lots of R&D power, so I think they're going to do a good job overall. Price point is high. It was... I used to think the price point was insane when it first got announced or leaked or whatever. And then the Mavic 3 came out, and now the price point looks a little more reasonable, even though it's still really expensive. I hope that DJI releases the Inspire 3 pretty soon, maybe next year. I don't know. I think the Inspire 3 is past due its time, but yeah. And Stuart, can you do Star Night Lapse with the Action 2? Can you? Do I have the Action 2 down here? I don't have it down here. I haven't looked yet. I think you can, but I'm not sure. I'm working on a lot of things. I'm working on a head-to-head comparison between the Action 2 and the GoPro 10. Again, like a deeper dive comparison between those two, just because I want to see, I want to do a little bit better where it's very like, 4K 60 to 4K 60, 4K 120 to 4K 120, and so on, and views and stuff like that. So I know somebody commented above about the Action 2 camera, like the ultra wide being too wide, and I agree. It's insanely wide, and I don't think there's really much of a need for that sort of thing, but yeah. Mike, do you have a roof leak? No, so this is underneath my garage, and above here is the the drain from the floor of the garage. We got a lot of snow recently, and the drain has leaked a little bit. So that's where the bucket's from. Fimi, I review a lot of lights. If you could only buy one light for under $500, what would I buy? I would get the Aperture the Aperture P60C. Very versatile light, lots of options, lots of power. Great light. That's what I get. Aperture P60C. That's what I did a video about it a few videos back. Reptilian, how do I feel about the standard Mavic 3 controller? It's fine. It controls well. It flies everything well. I wish it had like 1 or 2 more custom buttons, which is part of the reason I got the Pro controller, or an extra wheel for the Mavic 3. But here's the thing. So I got the Pro controller, really excited about it because extra custom buttons on the screen. Built-in screen is nice. And the extra dial. Currently, you can only use the extra dial for the zoom when you're in the Explorer camera. You can't use it for anything like changing the aperture, which is what I really would use it for. So I got to send DJI a note and let them know that they need to do something about that, and soon. Right, Richard? Yeah, it does. It zaps batteries quickly. Mavic controllers, a built-in screen and more dials. That's most of it. That's most of the difference right there, is the built-in screen and more dials. The Pro controller now gives a little bit more range to the Mavic 3, but any controller you're going to have now is going to fly you so far beyond visual line of sight, it doesn't matter. Oh, there it is. Fly zone. You talked about that. No, I agree. The ultra wide is just, it's too wide. It would be cool, Sunrise, if DJI's new wireless mic transmitted directly to the Action 2. Unfortunately, it doesn't, but that would be cool. I wish they had made that. Hey, Maddie's Drone World. Good Lord, you guys are chatting away. I don't know if I can catch up. Snowbed, yeah, I was so full. Are there DJI filters with the Air 2S good or no from Freewell? You're coming from FPV and lots of real estate jobs lately. That's what I use on my Air 2S. All the stuff you've seen shot with the Air 2S has pretty much had a Freewell filter on it on this channel. So they're great. They're really solid. I got the 2 variable, the 2 to 5 stop and the 5 to 9 stop. And then I also have some of the other ones. But I just like the variable because it's just 2. Maddie's Drone World. Yeah, that was insanely deep snow. It was a lot of effort to walk through it. So, hey, David Casada. Oh, I am so sorry, man. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're on the mend and getting better. I'm glad you're here chatting tonight. I'm really sorry to hear that. Any experience with green ball reflections in Mavic 3? Or from the stock lens cover footage with many pairs of green balls shooting fireworks? No, that's interesting though. Photos. I mean, it definitely has, flares. It flares. Be interesting is to take the stock lens cover off and try it with an ND filter, and see if those flares are still there. If it's just a coating on that stock lens cover or not. I mean, I definitely noticed like shooting into the sun. And that is one thing with the Mavic 3. It leans to the green side a little bit, where the Air 2S leaned to the magenta side a little bit. So it's, yeah. DJI merge Inspire Ronin 4D. That's kind of my thought, Zulu, is that they're going to take the camera system for the Ronin 4D and make it interchangeable with Inspire, the next Inspire. Yes, on lights. I thought so. Not for you. Hey, I'm caught up. Sweet. Yeah, I like that. Fly zone, I like the wide on FPV. The ultra wide is too wide, but the wide on FPV feels pretty good overall. I like the wide, and the D-warp feels pretty nice for me overall. The guitar on my right is swinging. Are you sure? Okay. JR, hello. You took a picture with your Mavic 3 golden hour pointing at the sun. You got some green dot in the picture. Any idea what might happen? JR, so that might be, it might be part of the lens system. Yeah. Hopefully not. I haven't run into it that much, but I also don't shoot in the same conditions that many of you shoot in, as far as like angle of sun, and all that. But at sunset, I mean, you're pointing into the sun, so we should be the same. And I've done that before, not had any issues. So, but it could be the lens cover, it sounds like. So yeah, getting a different lens cover or getting a an ND filter on there, even a really light one, or just even a VU filter made, or very very light ND filter might help alleviate that. But that is interesting because I've done a fair amount of sunsets with the Mavic 3 and I haven't had an issue with that. Interesting, yeah. Reptilian yeah, so my thing is that like I just want them to give us the option of being able to customize that extra wheel. You just go, yeah, this is, I want that extra wheel to do this. And that's where my biggest pet peeve with the Mavic 3 is that they stuck it on the Go Fly app, or the Fly app, the DJI Fly app. The Go 4 app was a much more professional level drone app, being that you could customize much more. And it had waypoints and stuff like that for mapping. So thank you, Mark. All right, Brett, thoughts on the 35 to 150? You've got the 24 to 70 GM, the 7200 GM, but having one versatile lens for 1/3 the cost sounds nice. So I did the video on it, Brett. If you watch that video, it's I really like the lens. It is a fantastic lens. The rendering is really good. I did astrophotography with it for fun, which really pushes and challenges a lens, especially out in the edges and the corners. If it's going to, cause the stars to have streaks or anything like that, it didn't. The stars are nice and sharp all the way out, all the way at f2. I didn't stop it down at all, and so I really, really like it. For me, I think if I was, that's pretty much what I would do. I don't have the 24 to 70 and I don't have the 7200, but I have the 28 to 75 and the 70 to 180. And I think at this point, I would be happy to have the 17 to 28, a wide, ultra wide tele, and then the 35 to 150. And I could do almost everything I need. For me, doing the 35 to 150 at events would be spectacular when you're shooting a speaker and you need that kind of tighter shot, but you also want to be able to do other stuff. I feel like the 35 to 150 would be amazing for that. Wow, David, I am glad you're okay. I'm glad you made it. Yeah. James Smith, getting jealous over here in the States, seeing all the A7IVs being delivered everywhere besides the US. Yeah, what the heck is up with that, man? That's like, come on. Ryan Edwards, what's in my camera bag 2021 coming? A video coming? So I just realized the other day that I haven't done one, and I need to do one, right? I'm glad you asked, because I was debating, like, does anybody care what's in my camera bag? But if you're interested, I'll do one. I'll try and do one soon, because those are, yeah. I always enjoy them, but then I don't know if other people enjoy them too. So I'll do them. I'll do a what's in my camera bag 2021. And actually, honestly enough, or oddly enough, my camera bag for 2021 has been super consistent. Beyond the fact, like, if I'm taking an extra drone or an extra camera or lens to review, like to test and review, my camera bag has been pretty much the same all the way through 2021. So I will do that video. Next time I go out, I'll do one of those videos. How many of you would like to see me do a what's in my camera bag 2021 in the chest deep snow that I was wading through a little bit ago? I'll take snowshoes this time so I can actually get somewhere. But raise your hand if you want to see me do a what's in my camera bag in the chest deep snow edition. I'll hike back out there with some snowshoes and do it. Perfect. All right. I should have said something like a super chat, $20 if you want to see me do that. No, I won't do that, but all right. I'll do it. I'll do what's in my camera bag 2021 edition. Oh my gosh, you guys. That's awesome. Thank you. JR, thank you for this super chat, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for asking a question. That green dot damaged your photo. We'll try with a UV filter and see. Please try myself if I can. I will. We're not scheduled to have any sunshine until day after tomorrow. So, but I will, because looking back in the stuff that I've done, I know I shot some stuff straight into the sun. Those shots are in my in my review video, and I know some of the flares did shift to the green here and there, but it wasn't anything that I saw that I was just like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. I couldn't possibly use that. So it'd be interesting to see if it's like a widespread issue or if it's just, some of them. Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see. Hey, Ray Kelly. AS Skater, what motivates me when views get low? Well, I just went through a period of very low views. For me, I like doing what I do. I like going out. I like testing equipment out, and I like exploring outside and capturing beautiful things. So when I come back and put a video together and edit it and watch it and enjoy it and then post it, that to me is enough for me. Would I like more views on every video? Yeah. I also understand not everybody's interested in lighting. Not everybody's interested in lenses. Lots of people are interested in drones, but even then, not everybody is interested in learning about how to do this specific thing with the drone. So people, they watch those videos or they don't, and that's fine. My goal is to go out and, one, have somewhat of a story so you get to come along with me on the ride of what it's like to test these things. So that 24mm Viltrox lens that I just did, super low views. I'm not expecting it to get a lot of views. If you want to watch me in a very cold environment testing out a lens, it's a fun video to watch. But yeah, other than that, I do it because I enjoy doing it. So I can do it in my studio, Richmond Arrows. Oh, thank you. David Casada, if anything, camera bag, camera, Mini 2 drone, GoPro 9, batteries, and battery backup. Wow. Yeah, it gets hard to fit everything in. I will admit that on Whiskey Creek. And also for those of you who are members, it's a short one, but I did post a new behind the scenes video of going to review that Viltrox lens. So, it's not long, but it's something. Awesome, Ray Kelly. Glad to hear that. Far North. You got recommended by Coffee Talk? What's Coffee Talk and Tech? Coffee Talk and Tech. I'll have to look that up. But thank you for joining me from Palmer. Nice. I get out your way often. It's one of my favorite places to go, is out in the area there. So thanks for staying high. I appreciate it. Hope you're staying warm and ready for our next cold blast of weather. Jeez, it feels like it's been cold this year. I say that and I'm like, well, this feels like Alaska should be, like cold and then snow, lots of snow. Lon, I don't use Premiere Pro, so I couldn't say. But I always I don't want to go lower than 100. I know that much. So I'd prefer it to be the 150 to 200 range for 5K 50 personally. Let's see. USPS or UPS box viewers can send you stuff like some of the other podcasters. I do, David. It's in the description of the videos, way down, all the way at the bottom of the description, but I do have a P.O. box listed down there. So, and you can send it via USPS. UPS, no. But USPS you can. So, let's see. Green globe in your lens flare. It was right in the flare and it seemed like a negative issue to me. And the second and start darkest ND filter. Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go out and check this. Other than normal lens flare, which can be all kinds of colors, it does have flare. I will say that it does have flare. I like flares. I like it, but I can understand where people are like, oh no, this is ruining the shot. So. Been a while since you joined. Aerial Effects, hey, hope you're doing well. 50K? I did. Isn't that crazy? Thanks, man. I appreciate it. David Casada, can carry lots of physical therapy. Well, good luck, man. I wish you well on your journey. I understand that. I had a bad car accident one time, and it took me a few years to get back and going. But the good news is, if you're persistent at your recovery and you work on it and follow good informed advice, then you'll get back there. I mean, I run around mountains now like people can't believe that I ever was in a really bad car accident. But yeah, I'm thankful for that. What other landscapes would I like to photograph outside of Alaska? Ryan, great question. Thank you so much for asking that. I really, really want to go down to Arizona, Nevada area and like Moab area, anywhere in there, and photograph the Milky Way core. The only time the Milky Way core is visible in Alaska is in the summer when we don't have any darkness. So I really would like to go down there and do some of the desert stuff and photograph the Milky Way core. I really want to do that badly. So yeah, that's, landscapes wise, I would love to do that. Outside of Alaska, what are some of the other ones I want to go to? I want to go to New Zealand and Australia. I think there's fascinating landscapes in New Zealand and Australia. Very different from each other, but they're very fascinating. And someday I want to go to Antarctica, just because I want to put my foot on every continent on this planet. And so hopefully someday I'll get the chance to do that. I would like to go back to Africa at some point and do a little more work there. It's been a very long time. And I think at the time I went, I had like a really cheap phone camera, or, like the iPhone 3G camera with me or something, and that was it. So, but I would like to go back and do some more of that. And where else? I've been in Europe. Scotland had some really beautiful landscapes. I really like that. That'd be fun to go back there. Scotland and Ireland. Yeah, and I want to go. The other place I want to go outside of Alaska, it's kind of so stupid because it's still winter and cold, but Lake Baikal in Russia. I would really love to go there and shoot some of that. I think that would be fun and fascinating. So yeah, there we go. Exactly, Lon. Very few lenses have no flare, and they usually get extremely expensive really quickly. But if you look at movies, like everybody has flare. So, let's see, whoever asked that, whoever was talking about the flare, maybe I should do a video on this. But you can, if you've got the right editing program, you can adjust the flare to change the color of just that flare. And it's tricky, but you can. Using it, you're like hue versus hue and hue versus luma, hue versus saturation. Those color curves, you can get very selective about your color and tweak it. So maybe that'll help you. You give it a shot, see what happens. Let's see. What do I use to record ambient sounds around you while you're filming, like water and bird sounds? On Whiskey Creek. So most of the time, it's just the on-camera shotgun microphone I have, which is the DDD3 Pro. I would love it if somebody would come out with a shotgun mic with a stereo mic off the backside of it, so you get a stereo sound plus a mono sound. That would be tremendously awesome. Isolate your voice. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Be amazing, Dee. If you did that, you'd be awesome. So, but yeah, that's what I use. I do have it's a specialized mic. It's a couple of little silicone ears with some mics in them that it gives you. I can't think of the words for it, but it gives you basically a 360-degree sound field, and it will match precisely what you see with your eyes. So if something is over here making noise, you will hear it over there. It's exactly like what you would hear if you were in the location. The trick to get the best is to put on headphones to get the really, really accurate sound. But yeah. Anyway, why can't I think of what that is called? Dear Lord. Let's see. Drone XAR. Off topic. How do I resolve the work that I do as a YouTube with the rest of my life, family, friends, work, other things, and YouTube? Is it easy? DroneX. It's not easy. A couple of things my family and I have done since my kids were infants was make sure we take 1 day a week off where it's just us, family time. We chill, hang together. I make a special breakfast, it's not that special, but I make a family day breakfast and we chill. The rest of the week, I have to manage my schedule, and I have to do it really well between what I'm shooting for YouTube and what I'm working on for clients and what I'm editing for clients. Sometimes I can shoot some of the stuff I do for YouTube at the same time as I'm working with clients. Most of the time I can't, so that means I have to find other time to shoot YouTube videos, and then editing too is the same thing. Like right now, I'm deep in the middle of editing some video and photo for Bell helicopters. Pretty cool. But it is, and I'm also editing a multi-day conference that I shot for somebody, while also trying to shoot and film or edit and put together a YouTube video. So it's challenging, and schedule management is key. I think the biggest thing that helps me deal with that is time blocking. So I will block out my time through the day of between 9 and 11 or 9 and noon usually. I'm working on this between 12:30 and 4:30 or 5:30 or whatever, whenever my end time is I'm working on this. And so it is challenging. And right now there is one other job that I've been doing for 8 years. It's just a side job. It's a little job generally. But if something goes wrong at that job, basically it means I have to drop everything else I'm doing and go take care of that. That job will be going away the end of this year because I get to, YouTube and my business for video and photo work for clients here in town has grown to the point where I'm happy to let that go. So that will make things easier, but it is very challenging. And so the biggest thing I could say is work with time blocking if you can. Mark out on your calendar X amount of hours. Deadlines do a couple of things for you, especially when you time block things out. It causes you to be more efficient, and then changing it up through the day so you're not like, these 3 days I'm working on this. Sometimes you have to do that, but most of the time you don't. You can split up. Changing what you're working on through the day helps keep you creative and refreshed. And so those are really good things to do. The time blocking is a big one. It takes a bit to get used to it and to really stick to it, but when you do, it really does help you out a lot. David Casada, what about filming the Milky Way from the Maui Observatory? I'd love to do that. I would really like to go to like Iceland or Hawaii and work with some volcanoes. We have volcanoes here. They're just all extremely difficult to get to. You'd have to have a helicopter basically to get to most of any of ours. But yeah, I would love to do that. James Smith, you were in Moab. You were just in Moab doing aerials for a Japanese film crew from Tokyo. Blind Rock, Climber Fish Towers. Moab was awesome. Dude, that's fantastic. James, do I follow you on Instagram? You got to let me know if I follow you on Instagram. And if I don't, I feel like I need to. So anyway. Google Mirror Lake Highway, you were there on Sunday. Nice, Reptilian. I'll have to look that up. Jim's droning. Reducing contrast in the darkest tones and decreasing sharpness and definition. Yep, that makes a difference too. Just bought ND filters for the first time. Any good tips on early bright mornings and dusk? This drone up. Typically for me, early mornings and dusk, you don't really need much of an ND filter. Like ND4 will work, but I find a lot of times you don't even need that. You can do it with just a, no filter at all. But ND4 will work, and just keep the, watch your ISO and keep that as low as you can. So yeah. ND4 to ND8. Like if you're going from morning to, morning, like early morning to morning where the sun's coming up and stuff, then you might want to start with ND4, ND8. For dusk, ND4 is probably where I would be. And I think that's about what I've done usually. So yeah, that's how I do that. JG, is the GoPro accessories bundle on their website a good deal? Should you get it? Yeah, it's a fine deal. Which camera are you getting for? The other thing is like Amazon has tons of really cheap accessories. Be advised though, they're cheap. Like the GoPro ones are built better and made better. The Amazon ones are cheap in many ways, but they're, they also do the job. So, but yeah, not bad. Actually, I'm curious, what is the GoPro accessories? Do they have a whole pack of just accessories? Enduro and rechargeable battery. Yeah, that's a good one. Pass-through door. Yeah, anyway. Thanks, Connor S. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Brad, you made $200 for the Air 2S over Thanksgiving weekend from doing photos and videos for a turkey trot run. Nice, Brad. That sounds awesome. Hero 10 and the extra battery. Oh, yes, that is a good deal, JG. The extra battery, because I think it's the extra battery and the dual charger, right? Isn't it? Right now, isn't that what that is? And that is a good deal. And I would, yeah. Oh, it's not the, okay. It's the tripod thing, extra battery, an SD card. Yeah, I think, oh, and a clip. Yeah, it's not a bad deal. It's definitely gives you some stuff in the case. Yeah, and the magnetic swivel clip. Yeah, not a bad deal. For a while there, they were doing one where you get extra battery and dual charger, which is the one the kind of group or whatever kit I prefer. But yeah, not bad. Ryan Edwards, my street photography video was awesome. If I dumped or waterlogged a camera doing that in a kayak before, I have not. I got really close. In fact, when I did the, let's see, it was the Tamron 150 to 500 review, and I kayaked out of Whittier. And I was like doing photos of the eagle and stuff. Out of like, a big wave came up behind me, and because the wave was big enough that the kayak didn't go up over it, it just kind of passed through the kayak, and I didn't have my spray skirt on with the camera like down in there. It was close, and saltwater too. That would have been better. And then I was using an A1 that I had rented, so yeah, it would have been close. Anyway, fortunately, nothing bad happened. I got to the shore right away, emptied the kayak out. Like I held the thing up on my legs to be really careful to not get any more waves in the boat, and then I put my spray skirt on like I should have in the beginning, and carried on my merry little way. So, but yeah, that was as close as I've come, Ryan. I have almost lost a couple of drones, not launching from the boat, but hand landing in the boat, in the kayak, because the drone holds its position based on GPS. In a kayak, you are always at the mercy of waves, tide, and wind. So you're always moving in a kayak no matter what. And no matter how still you think you are not still, where the drone is holding its position very still. And so, yeah, trying to time like coming down in with the right time. And then if you've moved a distance from where you launched the drone wants to go back to wherever it came from at X amount of battery percentage at critical. Dear Lord, it's, yeah, I've been there where it's like you have 5 seconds to land the drone before it goes back to the takeoff point, which is, half mile back that way in the water. It's like, oh, Lord. Fortunately, I got it down just in time. And that's happened once or twice. JR, have I ever faced wildlife on my expedition in Alaska? On my expedition, my life here in Alaska? Yes, I have. Often. I've come around the corner a few times to be very close to face with moose, which is scary. Moose are huge, and they're incredibly powerful animals. They will have no issue stomping you into the ground if they don't like you for some reason. So that you always have to be on the lookout. I always do carry protection with me, but it's always an issue. I haven't had any run-ins with bears lately. When I was younger, I used to guide on riverboats, doing bear viewing tours and fishing and stuff like that. So I had a lot of run-ins with bears then, and I think the reason I haven't really had any run-ins with bear now is I'm very cautious when it comes to bear, and very aware of where bear might be, and keeping an eye open for them. And then I've had some close encounters with coyotes, some other small game and stuff. And so the wildest thing is I've had close encounters with wolves, but a deal with wolves are you don't know they're there unless they want you to know that they are there. So all of my encounters with wolves have come after the fact, when I've seen the evidence that they were there with me, and they moved on, or whatever, So, which is unnerving as heck, when you realize that you had a bunch of wolves around you, apex predators, and you didn't know it until after the fact. So it's like, okay, dear Lord. Yeah, so that's it, But most of the time, most of my close encounters are with moose, or near close encounters are with moose. So, yeah. David Casada, does the smart controller work with the Mavic Mini 2? So the original smart controller works with the Mavic Mini 2, which is why I love the original smart controller. I use it to control my Air 2S, my Mavic 2 Pro, and my Mini 2. All of them. All on the same controller, which is awesome. I hope that DJI brings some of that functionality to the new smart controller. Even just if they made it compatible with the Air 2S, I would be happy. I mean, I think they'll make it compatible with stuff going forward, but I would really like them to make it compatible with the Air 2S. And there's no reason they couldn't make it compatible with the Mini 2 as well. But yeah, so. Moves are enormous. Yeah, reptilian research. So you saw the video of me walking up here in snow, right? And I'm 6'4", so I'm almost 2 meters tall. I'm up to here in snow, walking in the snow. There, just a short ways down the road, there was a moose, a young bull moose, that was standing in the snow eating. It came up to, like, his belly wasn't touching the snow, just his legs were in the snow. If that gives you an idea of how tall they are. Like, I don't even quite, up to here on me, doesn't quite come up to the bottom of their belly. So they're big. They're very big. They're kind of scary. JG. Jay said, okay, cool. Fair enough, man. I don't blame anybody for not being active on Instagram. If you were, I'd like to follow you. But let's see. Max Lens mod for 69, worthy purchase for Hero 10. Yeah, it depends on what you're gonna do with it. If you want to do the whole horizon leveling thing, 360, yes, it's nice. I don't need it. The super view is great if you want really wide, and honestly, the wide is good for most things, even just handheld, which is what I do most of the time. That's what you saw there was the super view. I'll play it again and so you can see here, just in case anybody else joined us. And then you all can decide if you really want me to go do. You really, really want me to go do a what's in my bag video here. So this is the GoPro 10 handheld super view in 4K 30, if I remember right. Pretty sure it's in 4K 30. But that's, it's not bad. And that's just an arm length away, handheld, with standard stabilization, not boost. I don't think this was boost. Might have been boost. I think it was just standard, though. So, not bad. So, it depends on your use, JG. If you need a extra wide field of view and you want to keep the horizon perfectly level, no matter what you do with the camera, then sure, it will be. Reptilian came across a mother grizzly and 2 cubs once. They're about half a mile away, just like you wanted. Exactly, Reptilian. That is exactly right. I don't want to have a close encounter with a bear. I've had plenty, and thankfully they've all ended well, but I just don't want to push that at all, especially when there are cubs involved. That's dangerous. Clement, it depends on your use. If you need the best, then sure, it's worth it. If you work commercially and you earn a lot of money with your drones, then sure. If you don't, then no, it's not worth it. The Air 2S is the best value drone for the price point and the image quality you get out of it. The Air 2S is really the drone to buy. It just is. Alaska VFX. Yeah, man. So in that costume, I'm 7 foot tall. Yeah. Let's see. Part 107 to fly in Alaska? No, but you need a Part 107 if you're going to earn money with a drone in Alaska. Then you do. Mountain lions down here. So, David, mountain lions terrify me. Like, that is an apex predator. And they're kind of like wolves in the sense that you don't know they're there unless they don't care about you knowing them that they're there. Like, unless they want you to know they're there. And they are, they're predators. So yeah, I would get the heck out of Dodge if you know, saw tracks of one of those around. I mean, so one of my encounters with wolves was hiking across a glacier. I hiked up, did some stuff, and then turned around to come back at the top. And as I turned around to come back, there were wolf tracks going across a glacier in like half an inch of fresh snow. So they were fresh because they weren't there on my trip up. And I looked everywhere. I couldn't see any sign of them anywhere. And that was it. That was enough for me to, make really good time back down across that glacier, knowing that there was a pack of wolves running around up there. So yeah. Ryan Edwards, best, let's see here. Picked up a Mavic 3 recently. Honestly, going to return it and stick with the Air 2S. Also, shout out Aerial Effects. Yeah, honestly, I think the Air 2S is more than enough for most everything people do. I mean, really, if I didn't do YouTube and there weren't a few other things that I do where I need the extra flight time and some of the better obstacle avoidance, the Mavic 3 isn't really worth it. It'll be interesting to see if that changes when the rest of the software gets updated and you have this active track and all of that. But honestly, I don't use active track that often, so I don't think it's really going to be worth it. The Air 2S is the best. That's the best drone on the market right now. Best recommendation for a first FPV drone, Ryan? My recommendation is, like, I did a thing about like FPV versus regular, and I did a video on what FPV drone to buy if you're getting into FPV in 2021. And that is the links in there are the ones that I recommend. I recommend you start with the little ones and you just learn to fly that way. So exactly, Igor. Part 107 is required if you're going to make money with a business, or if you're going to promote a business using drones at all. You need to have a Part 107 because they define it as anything done in furtherance of a business requires a Part 107 license anywhere in the United States. So you don't need one to fly a drone. You do need to now take your SMART test with the FAA, which is super easy and super simple, but you do need to get that little certificate that you took the SMART test. But a Part 107 is required in any of the United States when you are going to use it to promote, further, make money with a drone or a business. So, that didn't sound very right, but hopefully you got what I was trying to say. Oh, dang. See, I hope it didn't ditch. So coincidentally, if you have unlike the Air 2 and the Air 2S, it has a little symbol there for disabling sideways flight. If that gets checked or tapped, it won't fly sideways. It'll turn, it'll go forward and backward, up and down, all that, but it won't fly side to side. And I've had that happen once where I was like, why is it not going sideways? And I realized I had accidentally bumped that disable sideways flight thing, which is the little like symbol on the middle of the left-hand side of the screen. So if that might have been it. Dude, Tommy, how you doing, brother? I feel like I've been, I don't know, not filling your role, but I've done a lot of live reviews lately, and every time I do, you're in my head. And like, what would Tommy say? What would Tommy do here? I hope you're doing well, man. I'm sure you're warmer than I am. Probably a lot less snow, too. That's good, David. And if I ever come down and hike in that area, I want to go hiking with you. No, I didn't, David. Oh, okay. Hey, thanks for the super chat, David. That went by. That's weird. Normally I see it. Thank you, David, for the super chat. I appreciate it, man. Any DSLR is capable of being dunked and still shooting? Yes, sort of. The Canon DSLR bodies, like the R6 and the R5 and the 5D, basically were kind of bulletproof. You could do just about anything with those things and still keep going. But the trick with those is, even though they're like sealed completely, you don't want to leave them underwater for very long. Like dunking is fine. They'll handle it. I wouldn't recommend trying it unless you have to, but they'll come out okay. But yeah, those are the ones. And the Nikon bodies are pretty similar that way too. They're pro level DSLR bodies are pretty good. Trust. Oh, thank you, Mark and Carolina Airshots. Trust. Smart. I don't know where that came from. I apparently need more sleep. I've been doing too much editing of videos for other people lately, and my brain is kind of scrambled. The trust test. You need to take a trust test now in the United States to fly as a hobbyist too, which I say is super simple and really easy, but you do need to take it. I need to probably do a video about that now. Reptilian like the Mavic, great drone, always be, but you like the Mavic 3, you like bigger, faster, more powerful drone. Actually throw your Mavic 3. Yeah, I mean, I am too. Like, I love the speed, I love the power, I love the flight time. The obstacle avoidance is pretty good, even though I never really rely on it. That all is phenomenal. I just think for most people, the Air 2S is more than enough of a drone, speed-wise, flight time-wise, and definitely imaging-wise, than for pretty much anybody. But yeah. Exactly, Bon Jovi. It's really dumb, but good, Tommy. I'm glad, man. I don't know if you had the same thing happen where, like, I was going along in the summer and all of a sudden work just slammed and I was traveling a lot. It was really hard to get any YouTube videos out, so I missed, like, there was like a couple of spaces where it was like 5 weeks here with no video, 3 weeks there with no video, and it was just, yeah, I was just running with my fast as I could to stay up. But yeah. Christopher, do I have a favorite set of filters I use? I mean, I like ND filters when I need to, like, blur water and stuff. I mess with polarizers a little bit. I mean, I like them and they're fine. I don't mess with them all the time. I really don't shoot with a lot of different filters. The one thing I do use pretty frequently is what is it? I like the gradient filters, especially like in the spring and fall when the foreground is going to be super dark and the sky is really bright, or like we've got snow-covered mountains still, or snow-covered mountains period, but the lower areas are like really dark or green. Having a gradient filter really helps to match those exposures. So Bon Jovi. Yeah, they both have really good dynamic range. The Mavic 3 is better in low light, but not massively better. Like, not hugely better. Not like going from, 1-inch sensor to a full frame sensor. It's not bad. Bruce, do I ever use a teleprompter? I don't. I do have a teleprompter when I do some client videos, but I don't use one personally. I probably should. It would probably save me a lot of editing time and a lot of mistakes that members get to see in the behind the scenes video, but or so do patrons. Patrons. Yes, I can do this. You too, Alaska VFX. Oh, good. See, I'm glad to hear it didn't actually ditch. But man, I've had that happen where you're just like, oh gosh, I got to get this drone on the ground now or I'm going to lose it for good. And it's terrifying. One time, I'd been doing a bunch of flying during the day and done a bunch of video down along the coast here. And I was out filming a mountain that is a volcano, but it's like across this inlet from where I was filming. And I was filming, and I was like, okay, I should probably start coming home. Well, on the way back, the drone's like all of a sudden, because it was cold too, all of a sudden the drone goes, okay, critically low battery, I'm going to start landing. And all I could do, thankfully I was coming with the wind back, so I had good speed. But all I could do was push the upstick up. So I was like trying to gain altitude, but the drone wouldn't, but it kept it from going down. And I got it just to over the beach, and it went down. It was like, I'm done, and landed. But I had it over the beach. I was like, oh, that was the closest I've ever been to losing a drone like that. Yeah, it was really like, oh gosh. Christopher, will I be upgrading my A7 III to the A7 IV? I will be getting the A7 IV, partly to make videos for YouTube, partly for a B camera for my A7S III and a photo camera. But I think the A7S III is still going to be my main video camera because it is so good in low light. Right now we have lots of low light. Yeah, so but the A7 III will become kind of my primary photo camera as well, and I'm looking forward to that. It looks like a fantastic camera. I can't wait to get my hands on one if they ever release it here in the United States, like they are in other parts of the world. Yeah, so crop at 60 or 2S. Yeah, that's true. It really does. So yeah, so Christopher, for me, the A7 IV is better low light performance than the A7 III. Not the A7S III, but the A7 III did much better low light performance. Larger, better photos to be able to get good. It's a good size photo. 32, 33. I mean, it's 33 megapixels. That's a great size. You can crop in a bit, and it definitely has great autofocus setup as well. So yeah. Not drone related question. What would be better for photography, Canon R5 or A7 IV? Ooh, that's a good one. Igor, personally, I think I would go with the Canon because Canon, like, their photos are really, really good. The R5 photos are fantastic. They're really beautiful. So that's what I would do. The A7 IV is great, but it's getting a little long in the tooth now. So I would go the R5 or the A1. That's what I would do. Yeah. I do, Usman. I think there'll be a lot of that kind of work available. So, yeah, Mark H owns a Canon R5. I messed with one a couple of times. Fantastic camera. Really, really great camera. Beautiful, beautiful images. Canon, the images straight out of a Canon camera are spectacular and require very little editing to make them look amazing. So, all right, folks, I have to go because I have another thing I've got going shortly. So I've got to drive on snow-covered streets to get there. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for those of you that sent a super chat. Thank you very, very much for the support. I really deeply appreciate it. And watching the videos and being part of this community. Y'all are pretty awesome. Thanks a lot for being part of this channel. I appreciate it. I will be back in, another video soon with, more fun and games, like wading through chest-deep snow and stuff like that. So, and apparently I'll be doing a what's in my bag in chest-deep snow video too. Anyway, in the meantime, till the live stream next week, be safe, be smart, and I'll see you again soon in the next video. Cheers, everybody.
Ah.